Yesterday, Dalvin Cook plays. Now, he did not carry a full load, but I told you guys last week that with his chest/shoulder problem, I wouldn't have played him.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
You definitely did not need him yesterday.
I just I don't see what you got from it. What's the advantage? What's the advantage to, and I got the stats right here. So he had 18 carries for 62 yards, 1 touchdown rushing on that short pitch that he took in, and caught 2 passes for 13 yards. Madison had 14 rushes for 46 yards, and he also caught 2 passes for 18 yards. Alexander Madison is a nice young player. Yeah. I really like him.
He's no Dalvin Cook, but he's a solid young running back.
Right. So but what did you get from playing Cook? It was the easiest game to say, all right, you know what, kid? Take the day off, come back completely healthy for these last 3 games.
We need you against them more than we need you against Detroit.
Exactly. And he's a guy, too, that if, you played him and if anything goes wrong, you're probably sunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't get the strategy of saying, let's play him against Detroit.
Well, and if you were going to play him, and again, if it were up to me, I wouldn't have even let him suit up. But if you were going to play him, why is he carrying the ball 18 times?
I don't know. I have no clue.
I'm curious how much this injury is affecting him.
It's got to be. It has to slow him down some.
He didn't have a great day running the ball either. He was 18 carries, 64 yards. That's like 3 yards.
Yeah, but 62 yards, 3.4 pop.
Yeah. But what am I missing when the team says you have to play? What do I not get here? What do I not see here? To me, it's so much common sense of it's Detroit. You don't have to watch a lot of film of Detroit to know that Detroit has cashed in its season and is not going to play for its head coach, right?
The 3rd string quarterback is starting.
And Madison, and here's the thing. It's a compliment to you because you drafted a running back who's really a nice young player. Mm-hmm. And he can catch the ball, and he might not be great in pass protection. I don't know, but he's a young player. But he can certainly run the football. He's not a liability. It's not like you're saying, all right, we're going from Dalvin Cook to Mike Boone.
Is it concerning to you that Dalvin Cook has not had a 100-yard rushing game since week 7?
It's interesting. I didn't think about that.
I mean, he's had 2 in between 90 and 100, so he's been close a couple times.
Sure.
But he's not cracked triple digits in rushing yardage since week 7 against Detroit, oddly enough.
A little bit. Yeah. I can't dismiss it completely.
I'd be curious to know what he's been doing as a receiver in those games.
He's had 2 good receiving games where he's had 86 yards and 73 yards. Coincidentally, those came also in his 2 best rushing games since then, too.
Sure.
That was against Washington. He had 98 rushing yards and 73 receiving yards. And at Dallas, he had 97 rushing yards and 86 receiving yards. But the last 3 weeks since post-Dallas game, against Denver, he had 26 yards. Against Seattle, he had 29 yards. And yesterday, he had 62. So Dalvin Cook has not been...
Well, and part of that is why, again, I would have said you're taking Sunday off. You're not going to be dressed, so there's no temptation here. Mm-hmm. Right?
Should have, yeah.
I don't...
Because we can win this game without you.
Yes.
And we need you to be as close to 100% as possible for the stretch run.
For all the talk of Dalvin Cook being one of the best running backs in the league, or maybe the best running back in the league, which is justified, he's not been that lately.
No, he's not.
He has not been one of the best running backs for a few weeks.
Does it concern me absolutely right now? No, but that's
something to watch for.
It's something to keep your eye on at the very least.
And don't forget, guys, we talked about this in June, July, and August too, which is 1, can he play close to a full year season? And 2, can he hold up? And the stats that you just gave me, Danny, indicate that there is a definite decline here.
Yeah.
Which, and again, I'm not going to be upset with the Vikings if I get to the end of the year and Dalvin Cook's game played in the regular season is 14. I'm fine with that. Rest him a little bit.
Yeah.
You drafted a guy as his backup because of this.
Mm-hmm. Because you knew that you could not count on him to be healthy. And he's been mostly healthy this year. But right now, you had an opportunity to give him a break, and you didn't.
You need Dalvin Cook being the rested threat that he can be in playoff game 1.
Yeah.
Because if we get done with playoff game 1, and let's say the stats are what they were against Detroit on Sunday for Dalvin Cook, 18 for 62 and a touchdown, I'm guessing you lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
If we get done with playoff game 1 and it's 23, 100 and 18, something like that, a touchdown, catches 3 or 4 passes, you win.
Very likely.
You go into Green Bay and win a playoff game by having Dalvin Cook be a massive threat.
Yep. Have to. That has to be part of the recipe. And right now, he's not been that.
Especially when you consider that one of your best wide receivers is not been playing because you're trying to get that hamstring back to health. And if it's not, or if Adam Thielen does come back in time for playoffs, but he's not the Adam Thielen that he was before the injury,
which I think is fair to assume.
You especially need Dalvin Cook to be as close to 100% as possible. And if he's not, that's not a recipe for a victory.